Hi, what's up, y'all? It's Poppin' It's D. About to react to this vid by Hannah Alonso. It's titled Influencer Insanity, Rage Baiting and Why Influencers Are Intentionally Making You Mad. So I love her Influencer Insanity series. I've watched every other episode, so I figured I would react to this one. So rage baiting is just basically when influencers put up content that they know is going to piss other people off, but they want the clicks and views and engagement, and they feel like that will translate directly to them getting money from it. And it's just such a desperate way to get people's attention. And it's so idiotic as well because it can have such a negative effect on your life, like permanently. Like what's put online is there forever. So let's say this influencer shit don't work out for you and you want to get a job in the future, your, potential employers can look this up and then you're done, you're cooked. Or other people who you want to befriend or you want to have a romantic relationship with, they can also find it and then look at you sideways like, what is this? This is weird. So it's just very damaging. It's very silly to engage in this for some temporary views and clicks. It doesn't make any sense, but it's very common. But yeah, let's hear what she has to say about it.
Rage bait to me feels like cheating.
She's adorable.
System.
I love her.
Yeah, your content is performing really well, but for all the wrong reasons. Like, we don't need to see you making a gallon-sized iced coffee or a disgusting inedible meal for your husband, or the hundreds of dollars of sugar that you're stuffing into your kids' mini fridges. What is the point of that if not to get a rise out of people? We don't need more anger and hatred in the world, and it's pretty unfortunate that influencers have sort of learned how to use the negative emotions of others to their advantage and make money off of upsetting people, essentially.
Temporarily though, like you're doing this.
Have you ever stumbled across something on social media that bothered you so deeply that you left a comment voicing your irritations and frustrations with it? You may have unknowingly fallen into that creator's perfect little trap. Hello, my name is Hannah, and for this next episode of my Influencer Insanity series, we're taking a deep dive into the social media phenomenon of rage baiting. I thought this would be the perfect topic to follow the last Influencer Insanity episode where we talked about influencers lying about their lifestyles, because rage baiting is also a form of lying, but it's lying for the purpose of making the viewer intentionally angry. Ideally, making them angry enough that they leave nasty comments underneath your post, telling you how much they hate your content and how angry it makes them. But why would anybody want to make their viewers angry, you might be wondering? The answer is money, more followers, and internet fame. Internet infamy, rather. Because, hey, a view is a view. It doesn't matter if it's coming from a supporter or a hater. And it's a lot easier to get people to engage with your content based on hatred than it is on love, and thus rage baiting is born. Rage baiting can be defined as a genre of social media content intended to incite rage in the viewer for the purpose of trying to get them to engage with that post in a negative way. The goal is to post something so egregious that people just cannot help themselves but leave angry comments voicing their irritations. The sad reality is that for some people, scrolling past something on social media that they don't like is not an option. That idea is inconceivable. They have to tell you how much they dislike you and your content. It's like a compulsion. They just cannot help themselves. There's lots of these kinds of people on the internet, and
these people need to go outside because I've seen things that I've found to be very dumb, very idiotic, and things that have like probably even evoked some type of emotion in me. Like, what? Because it might be, it fits into my, group, like my race or my gender or whatever, but never has it compelled me to want to leave a comment and I'm just like, you're stupid, and I click off and go on about my business because I'm not going to waste my time.
I assure you, there's plenty of
and also I'm not going to give them what they want because I know that a lot of them are doing this to get a rise out of people.
Comments of this video, there will be people who click on this video and they don't like me and they don't like what I have to say, and rather
what the fuck?
Off the video and going to find something else to watch, they will actively downvote the video, click the thumbs down button. They'll spend precious minutes of their life typing out some comment to let me know how much they don't like it. Moving on to watch somebody else's video that they like better is just not enough. They want me to know personally that they don't like me and my content for whatever reason it may be. And you know what? That's fine. Of course, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and if you're gonna put something on the internet for public consumption, you're gonna hear people's opinions about it, positive or negative. negative. It's just part of the gig. It is what it is. And at the end of the day, a comment is a comment, and the algorithm treats it the same way. If a piece of content is getting a lot of engagement and a lot of comments and interaction with it, the algorithm is going to prioritize it and push it out to a wider audience, even if that engagement is negative and based in anger. And rage baiters know this. Rage baiting creators have learned how to cheat the system. They have chosen to center their platforms around using hatred and anger to their advantage. Because again, it's a lot easier to get people on the internet to hate you than it is to get them to like you. So if you want to go viral and you want to post something that's going to get a lot of attention and traction and views and followers and engagement on it, make people mad. That is the ticket. And in my opinion, there are a whole host of issues with this and reasons that I think this is problematic content to be making. And don't worry, we're going to be discussing those issues later, but first I have endless examples of rage bait to show you, so let's dive right into that. And as I'm showing you each clip, I think it'd be fun to play a little game with yourself of guess what people are angry about in the comments. Try to see if you can figure out exactly what people are going to be mad about and try to predict what kinds of comments are left on these videos. I'll toss you a softball first, okay? Here's an easy one.
Girl, go to hell. You are not drinking that. There's no way. And these nails. Nah, she tap dancing. I don't like it. Oh my God, that's how black people drink. Girl, a drip of coffee, watch. Oh, she put a lot. But still. Girl, what? Ew, that's actually seems like that would be disgusting. Whipped cream? There's no way she's consuming this. It's the topping for me.
This account has 173,000 followers, almost 1,000 posts, and her most popular videos are structured exactly like this one. Gigantic, gallon-sized iced coffees that are basically creamer with a splash of coffee on top. It's obviously too much for one person to consume in a single sitting. It's extremely wasteful. It likely gets dumped down the drain right after filming. The amount of creamers and sugar syrups and whipped cream is egregious. It's sickening. In some videos, she intentionally spills ice everywhere and then she scoops it up with her bare hands off the countertops and puts it back in the drink. In this video in particular, she's putting a mountain of whipped cream on top that's dripping down the sides. It's creating this huge mess.
I would report her, then block her.
Slamming of things on the countertop, not to mention the mile-long nails and the incessant waving and tapping of them. Let me tell you, there is no shortage of things in this video that infuriate people. I don't know what's dumber, this video or your nails. She put coffee in her creamer. I am certain they condemn this in the Bible. My stomach bubbling, everyone getting diabetes just watching this. Creamer with a dash of coffee. This drink has nothing to do with coffee. And is the coffee in the room with us? Hundreds and hundreds of comments exactly like these under all of the videos that are featuring these massive iced coffees. She posts a lot of coffee and drink related content, and most of them are single serving, and they get a couple 100,000 views on average. Not bad by any means. That's pretty incredible actually. But it's no shocker that these giant coffee videos get the most views and engagement. 6.8 million views, 12.5 million views, 14.3 million views. It's crystal clear which video format gets the most attention for obvious reasons, which leads us perfectly into the whole first section of this video on rage baiting regarding food. This is hands down the most popular genre of rage bait. Videos which feature the mistreatment of food, whether that be the overconsumption of food, the wasting of food, the way people are eating and like the mouth noises they're making, or ridiculous recipes designed to disgust and enrage people. It is everywhere. And when preparing for this video, I put out a request on my Instagram story of people to send me examples of rage bait that they've seen. And these next 2 videos were sent to me more times than I can count. This is so incredibly problematic. It wasn't even a question. I had to include it. I have to show you this. This is an account run by the mom of 11 children, and some of her most popular videos are restocking my kids' mini fridges. I get the impression that each of her kids have a mini fridge in their bedroom.
Why she got so many goddamn kids
for them, and they have access to this whenever they'd like. That's kind of what she's trying to make us believe. And here's one that really got people up in arms. What she's doing in this video is she's going to each of her 11 kids and asking them, what do you want in your mini fridge for this week? And 10 out of the 11 of them ask for some form of junk food or candy, chips, ice cream, sodas, that kind of thing. One kid does ask for steak, and you know what? I respect it. In this case, we have a 5-year-old child asking for candy and chips, naturally, like you would expect a 5-year-old to do. And it appears that the mom is giving her 10 packages of movie theater candy and 5 bags of chips. These restocks are supposed to have them set for the week. This is apparently something she does on a weekly basis for her kids. So a 5-year-old is getting unfettered access to 10 boxes of candy and 5 bags of chips over the course of a 7-day period, and then it all resets next week with whatever she asks for then? Absolutely not. That's not acceptable. In no world can this possibly be happening. I hope it's not.
And why would you put chips in the refrigerator?
In this video, I have a feeling that all of this is just for show for the camera. If we keep watching, we see that she just put 5 boxes of mochi ice cream in a mini fridge, and mini fridges are not designed to be cold enough to keep ice cream in. I would know. I learned the hard way when my Ben & Jerry's leaked all over my mini fridge in college. Been there, done that. This is a red flag to me that the mom is doing all of it for the camera, and that this is intentional rage bait. Because we all know that mochi won't be stored in the mini fridge, and that she's gonna have to take it out right after she's done filming the video. Which I guess for the sake of the kids, I hope this is all faked for the camera. I hope for their health and well-being that this is just internet rage bait and that she doesn't actually feed her kids like this. She got a lot of backlash for this video, understandably, so the following week she responded with this video. She's narrating it saying, after last week's restock video, we got a lot of comments and suggestions that I should be filling the fridges with fruit. And I thought that was a great idea, so we went to Trader Joe's
because you had no idea fruit existed. Go to hell, lady.
The tone is really snarky and sarcastic, really leaning into the rage bait now. Taking people's genuine suggestions to feed her kids something nutritionally valuable like fruit, and she turns around and she makes a joke out of it and adds more fuel to the fire. Now people are mad for different reasons. They're mad that she didn't cut or wash the fruit first, like you're giving your young kids whole watermelons, a whole pineapple, whole dragon fruits. So yeah, even though you're giving them fruits, it's not accessible, especially to the younger kids. They're gonna need your help. You're gonna have to cut it up for them eventually. So just like throwing a pineapple into a fridge and slamming the door closed and saying, there you go, there's your fruit for the week. Like, it just gives off really snarky vibes to it. Commenters are also mad that one kid literally got a fridge full of lemons that they're obviously not gonna eat, and how that's wasteful. And then she even threw in some commentary like, Alex is getting star fruit because he's the star of our family. Like,
Alex got star fruit because he is the star of our family.
That's just so unnecessary. You're trying to get a rise out of people, and it's working. She's trying to make people mad. She likes that it angers people, so she's playing all of this up to appeal to the haters.
Y'all slow for believing it.
Hook, line, and sinker. She has just as many angry comments on her videos as supportive ones. In fact, probably even more angry comments. I can see why her account has a big following because she has 11 kids. Her bio says foster adopt family of 13, and this is a very unique family size, and people are nosy. People want to know, how do you feed 11 kids? What does your grocery bill look like? What is your...
I don't trust people who have like large amounts of kids that they've adopted, because I know personally someone who used to do this. It was a neighbor, and my aunt was like really good friends with this neighbor, and she literally did it for the money, okay, because she was getting a check for each of these kids. She did not care about those kids at all. And it's like, if you actually want to give love and attention to adoptive children, why would you adopt so many? Like, you obviously can't divide your time and attention equally to all of these children. So you're clearly doing it for some other reason. I just don't trust it. I don't like it. So she already on some bullshit, and now she's using them for content. Gross.
morning routine look like? I get it, it's fascinating for people to get a glimpse into, and not all of this account is rage bait, but she absolutely keeps those kinds of videos in the rotation to get a rise out of people, because the mini fridge restock videos that she does weekly get significantly more views than her grocery hauls or her meal planning videos, because they capture people's attention in a negative way. And unlike rage baiters, we know how important it is to take care of our bodies and fuel ourselves with nourishing meals, which makes it so fitting that factors
y'all go support. And I heard those memes are nasty, but y'all go support.
I'm just gonna rapid fire at you.
No shade.
There are endless accounts of people posting the most asinine, horrifying, gut-bubbling, unrealistic recipes you could ever think of. Here's a lady putting hot dogs inside manicotti noodles, which she incorrectly calls cannoli noodles. I think that's another added level of rage bait. She's trying to get people to correct her terminology too. And then she's layering on string cheese, canned chili, ketchup, mustard, onions, and more cheese on top. I guess in essence, this is somewhat of like a chili dog casserole type situation, but no one is doing this. This is not a thing. I know I'm not playing the audio for you, but she starts off by saying, "This is my favorite thing to make for game day." Girl, no, it's not. Right. This is something you're doing for views. No one is actually eating this. And quite frankly, it pains me to see these creators wasting food so recklessly. In this economy, have you seen the price of groceries? And the comments are full of outrage as well. My favorite one being, "When Judgment Day comes, you'll be forced to answer to God for this aberration of sustenance, and he will deem you unfit for his kingdom." The same creator posted something like this, saying that it's, quote, "the best potato recipe." And she puts Lay's potato chips, milk, sour cream, butter, cheese, and bacon in a crock pot, and then calls it mashed potatoes. And like clockwork, the comments come pouring in. "This is why the rest of the world hates us. Straight to jail. This woman must be stopped." So in other words, add several days of fat and sodium to a slow cooker, then add more fat and sodium. Don't skimp on the fat and add more fat, and when that's done, top with fat and sodium. Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what she did. Is this satire? I seriously can't tell anymore.
How can you tell? This is so blatant.
They have public health care, and this is not even a good
Nobody would
recipe.
Eat this.
What the hell? We have got to stop falling for this. We've got to stop letting fake videos enrage us. They're only doing this to mess with.
See, I've seen rage bait videos that are not as as blatant as these. These are just trolling. I would say that this is trolling. And I know I'm always accusing people of trolling in videos. This is downright trolling at this point. When the rage baiting videos that I'm referring to, like, they will make wild statements or comments about, you know, how they feel about black people or women or Asians or whatever, you know, and it's like this, people do think this, so it's like, okay, this could be real, but I can tell that, okay, you're just doing this for attention. But this type of shit, it's like, all right, they are clearly trolling y'all. Y'all like, what, you eat this? Nobody's fucking eating this.
So that they can grow their platforms by creating these videos that go viral for being ridiculous. And by engaging with the content and leaving a comment, you're now enabling it. You're supporting it. This is an account on TikTok where she's supposedly making meals for her 65-year-old blue-collar husband before his 16-hour work shift or whatever. Like this very long-winded, wordy narrative of exactly who she's cooking for. And it's always something completely disgusting.
So she's trying to... This woman is a troll from the depths of hell. She's trying to put this narrative out there that she is cooking for her senior citizen 65-year-old husband because she's trying to kill him for his money, for his his insurance policy. She ain't shit. Why would you make this type of content? What is wrong with you?
And inedible. Here we have
frozen people think you're a Black Widow. Why?
In a pool of oil. Then she adds all of the salt from the Pacific Ocean. Then she adds powdered sugar, garlic scooped out of the jar with her acrylic nails and flicked into the pan. More oil, clam juice, hairy American cheese, Parmesan cheese, and then she slathers it in ketchup. And as if that wasn't a crime enough, she's got a moldy onion and eggshells sitting in the frame too. Again with the wasting of food.
So obviously
clearly no nobody's eating this. It's all going in the trash, and the only thing that was accomplished by this was you pissed off the internet. Congratulations. The mistreatment of food for rage bait is like an epidemic at this point. Everyone's doing it. This one took a 2-liter soda bottle, she filled it with melted peanut butter and jelly, and she mixes it completely unevenly, which I admit that gets to me, that bothers me. Then she puts it in the fridge or freezer until it's solid, and she cuts the plastic bottle off. She slices it into rounds, and she pretends to enjoy her inch-thick slab of frozen peanut butter with a side of bread. And you might notice that her hook at the beginning of the video was things I wish I knew as a first-time mom, which will undoubtedly catch the attention of new moms. I know it did for me when I came across this video in the wild. You go into it thinking that you're going to learn some cool, useful mom hack,
and you
but
waste
instead
your
you waste
time.
your time and energy
Report and
watching
block.
something that was only intended to anger you. And here's one more example for good measure. This one is pasta. She uses milk, cream cheese, American cheese, mozzarella cheese, garlic, salt, pepper, Dijon mustard, and butter. And it comes out looking like what my cat vomited on the carpet at 3 a.m. last night. The pasta is completely undercooked. It's totally inedible, straight to the trash. So a lot of these recipe videos that I've shown you so far are outright undeniable rage bait, posted by self-proclaimed satire accounts where this is like their whole shtick. They created that account for the purpose of this kind of content, and it's working for them. But that's not always the way it goes. Sometimes creators are just going about their normal business and they do something that inadvertently irritates the internet, and then they realize how valuable that anger is, and then they switch up their content to accommodate it. Here's an example of that. This person did not start out rage baiting intentionally, but it happened kind of accidentally one time, and once she caught on to that, she used it strategically to grow her platform. In my opinion, based on the trends I've observed her content following over time. She started out sharing a lot of sourdough related content and recipes, and those did relatively well. They were in like the 20 to 40,000 view range usually. And then at some point she puts out this video of her making an ice cream sandwich with sourdough cookies. Here's that very first video, and there's at least 3 things that people are angry about in the comments, so see if you can catch them.
This Sunday night, I wanted another ice cream sandwich, and I was craving 2 soft and chewy snickerdoodle cookies with a layer of vanilla ice cream in between. And for this one, I underbaked them just slightly so they're extra soft. I rolled them in cinnamon sugar, and the cookies are sourdough and naturally fermented, so they're gut healthy. And it turned out perfect. The snickerdoodles were so soft with cinnamon sugar in every single bite. It was so good.
For some reason, this video irritates the internet. It gets on the wrong side of Instagram or something, and people start leaving tons of comments about her voice, how irritating they think it is, how thick the ice cream layer is, how she's slamming things down on the counter constantly, and particularly how she's calling the sourdough cookies gut healthy. This video gets 2.2 million views, which is completely unprecedented for her account. And in my opinion, I don't think she was trying to rage bait in this video. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she wasn't, but she definitely took it and ran with it. From this point on, there is a noticeable shift in her content where she transitions mostly into ice cream sandwich videos. And she rode that wave for a while and really built up her platform, and now her videos are racking up like hundreds of thousands to sometimes millions of views on a regular basis. And we can notice that as time goes on, she's intentionally playing into all of those things that people found irritating initially with the first video. In particular, she started exaggerating the way she's speaking. She's really making sure that all of her
making the ice cream
one
thicker.
Long, flowy, all run together mush ball. She's making that slice of ice cream thicker and thicker and thicker, and she's really playing into the way that she says gut healthy to describe the sourdough cookies. All of these are things that she knows make people mad, because again, it's easier to incite hate than love in a random viewer coming across your page for the first time. And she has absolutely grown her platform on the back of these rage baiting ice cream sandwich videos. Here's one that she did recently.
But it's like, okay, you want to piss people off forever? Like, how do you pivot from this type of content? Like, because having a online presence and having people hate you, that's not fun for anybody. So it's like, you just want to permanently be hated online. Like, where do we go from here?
It was actually a sponsored video with the Unreal Candy brand, so now she's getting paid for her rage bait.
So this Sunday night, I want another ice cream sandwich, and I was craving 2 soft and chewy dark chocolate peanut butter cup cookies with a layer of vanilla ice cream in between. And for this one, I used Unreal's creamy dark chocolate peanut butter cups, and the cookies are sourdough and naturally fermented, so they're gut healthy. And it baked up perfect with that rich and creamy peanut butter filling.
Like I said, exaggerating the way that she's running all of her words together. So this Sunday night, emphasizing gut healthy, putting a slab of ice cream on there so big that she nearly busts her jaw trying to bite into it. And I understand that these are really silly things for viewers to get irritated about. Just let her live her life, for goodness sake, okay? We don't have to comment on every tiny little thing that you don't like about somebody. These comments don't make sense to me necessarily, but regardless, she's absolutely leaned into those negative comments, and she's been able to monetize it now. People are still getting mad today about the same things they were getting mad about in the first video, but now she's using it to her advantage. Here we're starting to understand how creators can really build up their platform utilizing rage bait to the point where they're now securing big followings and huge, recognizable, well-paying sponsorships. For another example, this is a different creator who's also built her platform on rage bait and trolling the trolls. She started her account with motherhood and homemaking content, and then the video I believe began her rage baiting journey was this one. This was posted on January 1st of 2023, and she's saying that her toddler wanted toast with jam and butter, and so it's a video of her making all of those things from scratch. Homemade bread, homemade jam, homemade butter. Girl. This became the video that got the most views on her page thus far, and people started commenting, "What's wrong with your neck? Why is your face so smug? How do you have this much time? Your kids had to wait hours and hours for you to make this before they could eat it?" A lot of those original critical comments were really aimed at the fact that she's portraying this beautiful, idyllic, peaceful experience of motherhood, and like, how does she have the time with 2 toddlers to be spending hours and hours and hours making bread from scratch and doing it all while looking beautiful in this gorgeous dress, one-handed, very poised, kneading the dough with a baby in her arms. I think that's where the angle of these comments are coming from. Like, what is this? This is not real life. And from that point forward, she took all of those critical comments and absolutely ran with it. Now her videos look like this one.
My toddlers really wanted to color, but we were all out of paper, so I decided to make my own. I ripped up this old egg carton and put it in a jar with some water and let that soak until it was completely saturated. I added it to my food processor and processed it until it was a nice mushy pulp before I added it to a separate bin with some water. Next, I dipped my mold and decal into the pulp and got a nice thin layer of it on the screen before transferring it to this little sheet. Then I laid all my soon-to-be pieces of paper out in the sun to dry before I got started on my crayons. I just broke up some old crayons and added them to the silicone mold and baked them in the oven at 300 for about 10 minutes and then let them cool, and they turned out so cute. By this time my paper was dry, so I collected that and binded the edges. I made 2 books, one for each of my sons, and that was that. I set them up at the kitchen table and they got their coloring on. I've always kept every piece of art they make, and I can't wait to see what they fill these books with.
Girl, those aren't even effective.
Look, making homemade bread and jam is not a crime. It's really lovely, actually. But now we're going as far as making homemade paper and crayons when your kids want to color. Like, come on. Crayons. Notice how her neck is even more stretched and her face is even more smug. And her mannerisms are that of a Disney princess, and she spends hours upon hours making paper out of an old egg carton, which is something no typical mom of toddlers has any time or energy to.
Why would you want to look this psychotic online? Like, real shit. You doing this for a bag? You want to look this, like, mentally unstable online because it's getting you attention and views?
To do. Speaking from personal experience,
she looks
this
crazy.
This is not real life, this is a joke, and we should be receiving it almost like satire. And this would actually be a great video for me to do in the future about trad wives. This term refers to traditional housewives that perpetuate traditional gender roles on social media, that women should be homemakers and they should spend their time doing these kinds of tasks and making everything from scratch. It's an incredibly nuanced topic that I can't possibly even start to explain right here, but we'll probably be revisiting this creator in another video on trad wives. But for the purposes of this video on rage baiting, we can see the transformation from homemaking content that wasn't really performing very well, getting a couple thousand views per video, to now rage baiting homemaking content that has grown her platform to over 450,000 followers, and her videos now regularly get millions of views. There is a tipping point where we can literally see the shift in when these creators start to grow their platforms, and it is all based on the addition of rage bait. She's been posting motherhood and lifestyle content pretty consistently since 2020, but her Instagram didn't seem to gain traction until 2023 when she really leaned into making her viewers angry. And now she's at a point where she's able to monetize that content. She is securing some huge sponsorships. Kroger, JCPenney, Michaels. These are a big deal for content content creators, and that's amazing for her. Sponsored content in itself is a really big accomplishment, so I'm not knocking that at all, but I think this would be a great place in the video to go on a little mini dive of all the issues I have with rage baiting and why I think it's a problematic way to make a living. To understand the issue of rage baiting, we need to understand the basics of how social media functions. Apps like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube is to keep you on the app for as long as humanly possible. They want your face to be glued to your phone. They want you to lose all concept of time. They want you to be scrolling so viciously that you look up 3 hours later and think to yourself, where the hell did my evening go? And how do the apps keep you on them for longer? Algorithms. They tailor the scrolling experience to suit your interests. They pay attention to what things you scroll past quickly, what things you pause to look at for a long time, what things you like and share and comment on, and then they feed you more of that. Why? To keep you on the app for as long as humanly possible. Algorithms also work by suggesting content from unfamiliar creators to you that seem to be of high interest on the platform. So maybe you've never seen a video by this particular creator before, but the algorithm feeds it to you because other people of your similar demographics are engaging with that content at a high rate. So knowing all of this, it's understandable why influencers or content creators would want to please the algorithm as a means of growing their platform to get more eyes on it. The more likes, comments, shares, and follows, the better. The more engagement, the better. This increases your chance of hitting the algorithm or going viral to expose your content to a ton of new people over a very short period of time. In the influencing industry, getting more eyes on your content is the absolute key, because the bigger your platform grows, the more views your content accumulates, the more money you make. This translates into a higher volume of sponsorship opportunities. This means that bigger brands want to work with you, and the bigger your audience is, the more they're willing to pay you. If you're monetized on YouTube or on TikTok, then you're getting paid by the number of views you get as well, which I really want to make a point of saying that I don't think is an inherently bad thing. Influencing is a job. Content creation is a job. Content creation is my job. This is what I do for work. This is how I support my family. But in my opinion, there's right and wrong ways to go about it. You can either build your platform on quality content, authenticity, and honesty, where you're offering some kind of value or information to the viewer that makes the viewer engage.
I ain't getting online and acting like no clown for no views.
Or you can build your platform on disingenuous, fake, and staged content designed to bait people into interacting with it in a negative way so that you can get on the algorithm's good side and make more money. Rage bait, to me, feels like cheating the system. Yeah, your content is performing really well, but for all the wrong reasons. The engagement you're getting isn't supportive, and the content itself is not contributing anything of value to the online space. All it's doing is serving to wind people up and make them mad. Like, we don't need to see you making a gallon-sized iced coffee or discussing...
You know who else used to do this? I reacted to his videos. That hood nigga who cooked. What was his name? I forgot his name, but I think his account was called Hood Mills or something like that. I might be making that up. But he was rage baiting as well.
Edible meal for your husband,
and that was
the
disgusting.
hundreds of dollars of sugar that you're stuffing into your kids' mini fridges. What is the point of that if not to get a rise out of people? We don't need more anger and hatred in the world, and it's pretty unfortunate that influencers have sort of learned how to use the negative emotions of others to their advantage and make money off of upsetting people, essentially. Some might say that it's a form of satire or comedy and it serves to entertain, and yeah, I can see that for sure. If you understand that what you're watching is rage bait, then it can kind of be funny. And a part of me kind of loves seeing these lifestyle creators leaning into the angry comments and using them to their advantage. Like, oh, you think this aspect of me is really irritating and annoying? Great, I'm gonna do more of that and in turn make a crap ton of money off of it. It's like the ultimate Uno reverse card. I'm gonna take your hatred of me and I'm gonna monetize it. Well, but at what cost? Honestly. We have been outsmarted by the rage baiters.
And then you got kids, like your kids people at their school can easily come across your fucking content and be like, your mom is weird. Like, is this your mom? Like, we saw her pick you up from school, huh? And they start picking on them. Like, this can negatively affect your real life in so many ways. So I don't think this is so genius and, but, she's making money. No, at what cost?
But I don't think it's an entirely...
But obviously, I don't personally fucking care. Do what you want. Live it up and troll people 24/7 if you like. But that's just my opinion on it. I don't feel like it's... but she even agrees that she feels like it's an issue in doing this. But yeah, I don't feel like this is so genius and everybody should do it. And it's such a great way to get yourself out there with no consequences. Like, that's just not the case.
or honorable way to grow your platform because many people don't know that they're being tricked into engaging with it. Sure, I can see how it's kind of funny if you're in on the joke and you understand what you're watching, but many people do not understand that they are intentionally being baited into it. And for the last portion of this video, I really want to show you some of the more sneaky, subtle examples of rage baiting so you know exactly what to look for when you're scrolling on social media. Most of the examples I've shown you up to this point are extremely obvious. They're pretty easy to spot. And they're also specifically dealing with food. There's a lot of food-centered rage bait out there right now, and most of the things I've shown you so far are coming from these bigger creators who have dedicated most, if not all, of their content to satire and rage bait. But that's not the only place we see it. Sometimes we'll see these non-rage bait creators who don't typically engage with that kind of behavior occasionally post something intentionally irritating to try and strike the algorithm to help build up their platform. They're not a rage bait account necessarily, but they do engage in this tactic every now and then to hopefully boost their engagement. Here's one I saw recently from a creator who focuses mostly on home improvement content, and it's a video of her partner reaching up to the top shelf at the store to grab a can of paint that is clearly out of reach, and he ends up dropping multiple cans of paint that explode everywhere. All over the floor, he drenches shelves upon shelves in paint, damaging literally thousands of dollars in merchandise and creating an absolute nightmare of a cleanup situation. Here's why I think this is rage bait. Number one, you just so happened to be recording when this accident happened. Number two, you really thought it was a good idea to pull a can of paint off the top shelf with your fingertips and just try to catch it in midair without thinking through all the reasons that this is a terrible idea. Why not ask for assistance from an employee who I am 100% positive has a ladder and would be more than willing to help you? That's their job. To do something so deliberately reckless while you just so happen to be filming it is giving off major rage bait vibes. It's feeling purposeful. It's feeling like they knew that this would most likely end up bad, but they filmed it and posted it anyway for the sake of views. And you know what? It worked. Her videos usually get between 20 and 30,000 views, and this one has 28 million views. 28 million. Why? Because angry people blew up the comments and she's hitting it big on the algorithm. People are saying, there's nothing funny about this. You purposely created a massive mess for internet views. Practically every can on that shelf is covered in paint. This probably took hours to clean. Grow up. Hey, film me doing something stupid for likes on Instagram. Why not ask for a store associate for help? Truly thoughtless. Hilarious. Not. Underpaid retail workers will clean it up. I hope you have to pay for all the product that they can't sell now because you've covered it in paint. Really funny. Hope you get banned from the store. I mean, yeah, I can see why people are really angry about this. There's no way that they would post this and just expect that everyone in the comments is going to be like, OMG, haha, so funny, you guys, oopsie. No, they had to have known that this was going to be upsetting to people, which in my opinion is exactly why they posted it, to get views and exposure on her page. And if you want to talk about subtle examples of rage bait, this is probably the most subtle that you're going to find. This creator does really satisfying coloring videos. I find them to be very soothing and enjoyable to watch. Those who get it, get it. And her videos really consistently get like 50 to 60,000 views usually, but this one got 6.5 million views. See if you can notice why. Honestly, I could watch that all day. It is so satisfying to me. But did you catch the rage bait? If you're wondering why everyone's up in arms, it's this egg right here. It's that she didn't fully fill in the egg and there's one little sliver of white along the outside edge. And I understand people's frustration because you watch these videos to be satisfied, to see everything be perfectly colored in. So when it's not, you have to talk about it, right? Her videos usually get like under 10 comments. Very, very low engagement rate actually. This video has over 400 comments, most of them calling out the egg issue. And it's not surprising to see that the increase in comments is related to the increase in views. It's also not surprising that she would intentionally do something like this because she created these coloring books and she's trying to sell them. So these videos are her way of marketing her coloring books to her audience. She wants as many eyes on these books as possible. And what better way to go viral to
somebody said you missed the spot on the fucking egg.
Angry,
y'all need to go outside
to point out the egg. I know this is intentional too, too. She'll do this kind of thing occasionally to boost her views. Here's another example. 18 million views, 1,400 comments, and 1 bottle of orange juice that was intentionally overdrawn outside the lines. And she conveniently has text on the screen telling you where you can buy her coloring book as she's engaging in the rage bait behavior. So her motives are crystal clear. Want to get more views so that you can sell more coloring books? Just piss people off. Here's another subtle yet very intentional example. This woman is showing us how she makes easy, healthy fries. And she's using this potato cutter contraption thingy because she wants people to buy it using her link so that she can make a commission. Essentially, this is like a little commercial for this kitchen gadget that she wants to sell you. And many people in the comments are outraged that she's taking the potatoes directly from the bag and slicing them without washing them first. And here's where it gets interesting though. She fully admits that she's doing that to try and rage bait people in the comments. One person said, the only thing that messes me up is not washing the taters first. And the creator responds saying they're washed, it's just a content trigger to prompt engagement. AKA, I'm trying to bait people into commenting on my post so that I can sell this potato slicer to more people and I can make more money. Hey, at least she's honest. This woman calls herself a 25-year-old teenager for no other reason than to throw people off and make them comment about it. People are also confused about why she's eating breakfast at 1 p.m. and then eating lunch only 2 hours later. I feel like the phrasing of 25-year-old teenager and the timestamps could be strategic rage bait. And it totally works. This video amasses over 10 million views. Similarly, and finally, this creator titles her video, "A Day in the Life as a Live-In Nanny for My Ex and His New Wife." So naturally, people are in the comments like, girl, what? What is this living arrangement? You live with your ex and you nanny his children? Are you nannying children that are not yours, or are his children also your children? Because if they're your kids too, then you're not the nanny, you're just the mother. I came across this video in the wild when I was scrolling Instagram on my own time, and I did exactly what I'm sure she hoped I would do as a viewer. I rewatched the video to see if I read that right or if I missed something. Then I checked out the comments to see if other people were also catching on to it and wondering the same thing. Then I go to her profile and I start clicking around on her other videos to see if I can crack the code, because I'm a nosy bee and I can't help myself. So what does that mean for her? That means that she stopped my scroll. She caught my attention. She got several views out of me across her page, and I spent several minutes looking at her stuff, which means that now the algorithm is catching on. They think I like that kind of content, and they're going to feed me more of her stuff in the future. I would have thought it like Cap. If you're curious like me and you want to know, I learned that her kids, her ex-husband, and his new wife live in the main house, while she and her new partner live in the guest house on the same property. So they're like neighbors, essentially. That would be like kids who have divorced parents who live right next door to each other. So mom comes over to dad's house to take care of their shared kids together. Is this an unusual living arrangement? Sure, but if it works for them, that's great. No issue there. The issue is phrasing it like you live in your ex-husband's house with his new wife and it's your job to take care of his new wife's kids as their nanny. That's not what's actually going on, and the choice to phrase it that way is an intentional one to drive up engagement, which absolutely worked on me as it did for many others. This reel has over 6 million views. You guys, I could keep going.
Wow, very interesting. People are just disturbed. They are sick in the head. I don't understand why you would think this is a good idea long term, considering the ramifications this can have on your actual life, on your close loved one's life. Like I mentioned, you know, that woman's children, people at their school can easily be like, your mama's a fucking weirdo, she's psychotic, what the hell is going on here, what y'all doing in that house? You know, like, I just think this is up there with doing porn, honestly. That might sound dramatic, but in the sense that you're doing something so extreme for, you know, some temporary money that you're getting and temporary fame and attention, but you're not considering the long-term effects that this is going to have on your actual life. When people look you up, this shit is going to pop up, and you're expecting everybody to be in on the joke and to understand what's going on. They're not going to be. Nobody's going to look through your fucking TikTok and watch every video and get a good idea of what's taking place. Nobody's going to do that. They can easily look you up, see one video, and be like, weird bitch, what's happening? Of course, you're getting your little sponsorships and shit now. Good for you. Great. You're putting money in your pocket, but at what cost? At what cost? Let's say this influencer shit don't work for you. You need a job down the line, and they looking you up and this shit pops up. Like, I just think it's a very goofy, desperate way to, get attention and to make money. But again, it's your life. Do what the fuck you want. I don't personally care. I just, make my observation and give my opinion, and it is what it is. But I just don't understand having such low self-respect that you're willing to just get on camera and be a clown and tap dance and, oh, this is what you guys want to see, okay? Like, what? But for money, cool. Y'all live, do what you want, I guess. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all the next time. Bye.